Hi everyone.
Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to teach you how to play checkers, one of the most simplest and well-known board games. Checkers does not have to be expensive to be fun. Case in point, this was purchased for $1 at the Dollar Tree. Because this was purchased at the Dollar Tree, you can expect the quality to be, well, not that great. However, the quality does not really matter. As you can see, it's just a piece of cardboard, just like that. It does not have to be decked out in gold or anything like that. Once you have your board and your checkers in place, you are good to go. So, when you have the board set up like this, make sure that the square on the bottom right corner is red, and then the square over there is black, and then the same thing will happen for your opponent that sits across from you on the other side of the board. Next, you're going to pick a color of checkers. You're going to place those checkers on the black squares only on the first 3 lines in front of you. Your opponent will then do the same thing on the first 3 lines in front of them with the other colored checkers. What I would recommend you do is you either flip a coin, roll a die, or whatever to decide whoever gets to pick which colored checkers they want to use. Because according to standard checker rules, the player using the black checkers always goes first. You and your opponent will then take turns moving 1 checker per turn. A checker can only be moved diagonally, so in this case you cannot go up, down, left, or right. You can move it to this diagonal spot or this one. Your normal checker pieces can't be moved backwards unless that piece is a king piece. More on king pieces later in the video. Also, you cannot move your piece on a spot that is occupied by another piece. To win the game, you have to capture all of your opponent's pieces before your opponent does the same to you. To capture a piece, you have to jump over one of your opponent's pieces with one of your own pieces onto the landing square on the other side of it. So let's say your opponent decides to move their piece right here. So, for this piece of yours to capture this piece, this square has to be vacant and empty. So you just simply do this. Take your piece, jump over the opponent's piece, and land your piece right there. This piece is now captured, remove the piece from the board. For every time that you are able to successfully get one of your normal pieces to the other side of the game board, that piece now becomes a king piece. Take one of your pieces that have been removed earlier and you place it on top of that piece so it looks like a stack. This is now a king piece. A king piece can now move diagonally in any direction starting on your next turn. And that is how you play checkers. To finish this video off, I'm going to teach you 2 tricks to checkers. 1 is chain capturing and 2 trapping. Let's talk about chain capturing first. Did you know that you are not limited to capturing one of your opponent's pieces? You can capture as many as you want as long as you can find a path of your opponent's pieces with a vacant spot on the other side of each one. So as such, I can move this piece to capture that piece right here. But oh wait, there's another one right here with another vacant spot. I can keep moving and capture this piece. So I captured 2 of my opponent's pieces with 1 move. And I don't have to stop there. I can keep going and capture a 3rd piece. So there's a chain of 3 just like that. Now you could say that I can go for the 4th one right here. But wait, I have a normal piece. I can't go backwards. So unless I was a king piece, then maybe you could potentially pull off a mega chain like this. Now I'm not saying that you'll ever see this in a game where you could capture 6 of your opponent's pieces, because most likely it will never happen. But this is in sort of a way proof that you can go the distance if you can find a path of your opponent's pieces that you can capture in 1 move. Now, You can't do this though. I've captured these three. My piece is now a king piece. You cannot do that. You are not allowed to evolve your normal piece into a king piece midway through a chain of captures. So the furthest that you can go with a normal piece would be 3. After that, you can remove these 3 pieces like that. You can evolve your piece into a king piece, and then your turn is over. Your opponent goes next, and most likely your opponent will probably do this. But in the event that on your opponent's turn they don't move any of these pieces at all, and there's a vacant spot shown there, then on your next turn you can take your king piece and finish off the rest like that. Now let's talk about trapping, a method where you can trap your opponent's piece to a spot where they cannot move at all, or if they can, and if they do, most likely they're going to get captured. Here's a good example. If your opponent decides to move to this spot, and this spot right here is vacant, you can capture that piece with this piece. If your opponent does not want this piece at all to be captured, and if you can keep this piece sitting right here, that opponent can't do anything. You have that piece on lockdown. Unless it's a king piece so they can move diagonally in any direction, then you probably want to have your own king piece sitting right here. If your opponent decides to move to one of these 2 spots, and the same spot next to it is vacant, you can also capture that piece. Otherwise, they can't move at all. Now this spot's a little bit risky because your piece is a little bit closer to the middle of the battlefield, so pay close attention to any pieces that are being played around here so that you don't get captured. Another good spot for trapping would be the corner. If your opponent has one piece in their corner, and they decide to move that one piece to that very spot, you can capture that piece and then turn your piece into a king piece to boot. But what if you had a second piece of yours move into this spot? Now your opponent can't move that piece at all. As long as you keep these 2 pieces stayed put right in these 2 spots, that piece in the corner is trapped for good. However, I only recommend that you use this tactic if your opponent is so overwhelmed and have much less pieces on the board left than you do. Otherwise, you're better off just leaving that piece alone and go capture some other pieces. Now since you made it all the way to the end of this video, there's something else I want to teach you. Did you know that capturing all of your opponent's pieces before they do to you is not the only way to win the game? If your opponent have all their pieces left to a point that they cannot move at all, they automatically lose the game. So using the tricks of chain capturing and trapping, take advantage of it and get the upper hand on your opponent. And oh yeah, there's one last thing I want to mention. You're probably asking this. Why is it so important to decide who gets to play with what colored checker? Well, like I said earlier, if you choose black checkers, you have to go first. And if you go first in checkers, you're at an unfair advantage. Why is that? It's because if you and your opponent are as skilled as you think you are, you will both be moving your pieces all to the same spot without doing any captures until there's no more spots left to move. Then at that point, it'll still be your turn, and the next checker that you move, it's gonna get captured. Play a game yourself, and you'll see what I mean. Anyways, that's gonna do it. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more, and don't forget to check out my gaming channel, Markis P Gaming, for video game Let's Play content. I will see you later, but until then, like always, take care.